You are Locked On Wolves POSTCAST, part of Locked On Minnesota on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
A wild one tonight as the Wolves erase a 25-point deficit, but they fall to the Spurs in the final minute despite 58 points from Anthony Edwards, 126, 123. That was the final. What's going on back in the lab? Back at it. Another T-Wolves postcast, all part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks to you guys, the number one sports podcast network in the country. Jack Borman, Wolves expert, NBA expert. Give him a follow on X at GRBorman13. Luke Inman at Luke_Spinman. And of course, follow our guy, Ben Beacon, host of the Locked On Timberwolves show each and every day as well. Lots to get into from this one, Jack. Game MVP, biggest X factor, plus what we'll be talking about tomorrow as well. But just off the top, man, if you stuck around for the whole thing, you really got your money's worth. Just from a pure entertainment standpoint, this was about the best NBA basketball you're usually going to get on a night-to-night basis. Wolves Spurs, obviously top two-tier teams in the West right now. You got Anthony Edwards versus Victor, two of the best and brightest in the league there. And even though it felt like things were over at halftime, Wolves down 25, what we witnessed in those final minutes was just like watching two heavyweight champs just land blow after blow. Jack, walk me through the final minute or two, but also obviously the big picture is also what I need from you as the Wolves, lose a tough one, but still probably some positives to be had from this one nonetheless.
Oh, a ton of positives to be had in this game. I mean, frankly, I'm taking away zero negatives from this game if I'm the Timberwolves. I think, just starting with those last 2 minutes, I thought Anthony Edwards, he's been the best clutch time player in the league this season. Should absolutely win clutch player of the year if the season ended today, and continued his dominance in the clutch. I think in the final 2 minutes, San Antonio was really starting to show two, sometimes three guys. And I think the way that he just took what the defense gave him and trusted his teammates to make plays and resulted in two huge Dante DiVincenzo corner threes after, him struggling, the first really 30 plus minutes of this game, starts 1 of 8 from 3, makes his final 2. I think that's part of what you love about Dante, right? Is that he's just going to keep firing, and that's great. But I think for Ant, we'll get into just how crazy good he was in this game, but he just feels totally inevitable in these final minutes. And I think Victor Wembanyama does too, right? I think you got to give Wemby a ton of credit for just the hustle plays that he made in those final couple minutes to lift San Antonio, and then using his gravity to help make plays for his teammates as well was just incredible. But it's a good thing that the Timberwolves have the tiebreaker over the Spurs for winning those first two matchups, because if this is a playoff series, considering how these games have gone, playing at home is just going to be a massive factor for both of these teams. And I just think, thinking big picture for a little bit, it's just really tough for the Wolves to lose both of these games in Texas, just because they came with an opportunity to be the 2 seed by the end of this weekend, but instead are now 2.5 games back of the 2 seed. And only a game and a half clear of the Suns in the 7th spot. And I think now with the Wolves, I guess injury luck, so to speak, kind of coming around a little bit. I think everybody, myself included, has been looking too much ahead of the Wolves in the standings and kind of right around them below the 6 line. But everybody in the 7 to 10 range has been playing really, really good basketball, and I think all of those teams have won either at least 6 or 7 of their last 10 games, and especially the Clippers, who I think have ripped off 4 or 5 in a row, and the Suns too. So, you hope that Naz Reid and Rudy Gobert are okay. I just listened to Chris Finch for a couple minutes in the post-game presser. Sounds like he thinks that Rudy Gobert is going to be out, day to day. Could be a situation where he's back on Tuesday. So we'll see. But with Naz, this guy just does not miss games. I've seen Naz Reid in the locker room after a game unable to lift his head up because his neck hurts so bad, and then come out and play, score 25 points the next night. And so it takes a lot for this guy to miss games. He's missed 3 games the last 3 seasons, including this one combined. So, he played in all 43 to start the year. He played in 80 last year. He played in 81 the year before. So I think for Naz, you just really hope that he's okay after taking that huge shot to the left shoulder from Wembanyama in the first quarter, because they missed him tonight, right? They lose 39-17 on the bench, and getting a combined 90 points, 95 points from Jaden, Julius, and Ant is pretty remarkable to get you to 123, but they're certainly going to need Naz Reid here coming up. You are muted.
We'll plenty of great points, Jack. We'll touch on Naz, what I was saying in segment 2 with what we'll be talking about tomorrow, but let's get into this Anthony Edwards 58-point game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
You would think this would get old, right? Player of the game. Oh, well, Anthony Edwards, led the team with 31 tonight. Let's go. No, it just doesn't get old, dude. This dude just does it, Jack, in so many different ways on a game-to-game basis. He is just must-watch television. Missed the last 2 games. You might be thinking maybe he'll be a little rusty. Maybe they'll shave a couple minutes off, keep him fresh. Maybe he's not quite 100%. What does he do? He drops 58 points, 3rd career 50-point game.
55.
Player of the game, Jack. Take it from there, man.
Yeah, 55 for Ant, a new career high for him is just unbelievable. Again, he scored. Let's just take it back from the end of the game. In the final 5:27, so we'll call that the clutch, I guess, even though it's only supposed to be final 5 minutes. Scored 17 points on 5 of 6 shooting in that stretch. He scored 26 points in the 4th quarter, 39 in the second half, made 8 threes in the second half. Just, I think, like the 56th time in the history of the league. So very few times has that ever happened. And he scores 55 points in the game. He plays 40 minutes. The Wolves win the minutes he played, 107-99. The Wolves lose the 8 minutes he sat, 27-16. I mean, he was everything for this team in the second half of this game. I just think the way, too, that everybody just looks to him in the 4th quarter, especially once that clock starts ticking down and gets into that clutch time range. It's just amazing the way that he elevates over defenders and knocks down just brutally difficult shots. I mean, you go look, I don't think any of the shots that he had were not heavily contested shots, but whether it was he gets a catch and shoot 3, a step back 3, a step back bucket in the mid range, a corner 3 where he pump fakes like 2 or 3 times, and normally a shot in the flow of the offense or flow of the game where you're just like, ooh, not a good shot to take. But in the 4th quarter, late in games, it feels like any shot is a good shot for Anthony Edwards with the way that he's been playing. I mean, like I said, came into tonight shooting 71% in the clutch, which is absolutely absurd. An 8 of 14 from 3 tonight. He what does he shoot? He shoots 4 of 5 from 3, and then 1 of 2 from inside the arc. I just think the way that he just kind of bends defenses at his mercy is pretty insane. And then 2, again, like I said, the unselfish nature that he plays with in terms of his ability to see that the defense is throwing 2 or 3 guys at him and still breathe confidence into his teammates and find them despite how they might have played the first 3 quarters and just trusting that his guys are going to make plays. And that's certainly what happened, I think. And then again, on the other end of the floor, I think Anthony Edwards, again, 2nd straight time he's matched up with Steph Castle and absolutely taken his lunch. Steph Castle was, he had 9 assists in this game, but 8 points on 8 shots, just couldn't really get into much of a rhythm on the offensive end of the floor with Ant guarding him. And again, just deserves a ton of credit for the way that he battled through that foot issue that's been nagging at him, and then had some discomfort in that left leg as well that he fought through in the second half. So I think for Ant, there wasn't anything more that he possibly could have done in this game to give the Timberwolves a better chance to win. But 55 points, the quality of shot attempts that he had in this game was remarkable, and I think it's just another day where you're thanking the heavens that Anthony Edwards is a member of the Minnesota Timberwolves.
He's pretty good. He's okay, right? He's all right. LaMelo Ball, Ant, 1. I don't know who to take. Who are we going to take? Number 1. I don't know. I think they made the right pick. Biggest turning point.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Just a wild kind of just Jekyll and Hyde sequence of events, it felt like in this one, man. Down 25, obviously, touched on that. Close to, again, like, shut this thing off. Let me flip over to Niners Seahawks category, but not with this Wolves team. We know that. We've seen it before. 25-point comeback last year in OKC. Always a chance with this team. And just started the third quarter with this nasty run, like holding the turbo button down. The first 4 or 5 minutes or so, it felt like in that third quarter, it just felt like, okay, maybe – you know what? Maybe they got a shot to claw their way back. When you look back, though, Jack, and try to let the dust settle a little bit. I know the game just ended. When do you think was the biggest kind of turning point tonight in this one?
I think it was just out of the halftime break, right? That was when we knew that Naz Reid was going to be out for the rest of the game when Johan Berenjay starts the second half. And, Jim Pete said on the broadcast that Anthony Edwards was the first guy to the locker room with about a minute left before the break. And I normally get back to my media seat with about 3 minutes left on the clock, and almost the entire team is out there shooting by that point. So the fact that they were in the locker room for that long just tells me that they were getting absolutely eviscerated by the coaching staff in there for their effort in the first half. Pretty much everybody except Berenjay and Jaden, Dante, was kind of a no-show in terms of just energy. And I think they came out and they just played way harder than the Spurs did at the start of the third quarter. And I think the fact that they were able to go on a 14-3 run in that first, 4 minutes-ish, Johan Berenjay had 4 offensive rebounds for 6 second chance points in that stretch. And the fact that they were able to go on that run with Wemby on the floor and then accelerate and continue that run once Cornette came in for Wemby, then everybody just started attacking downhill, right? Jaden McDaniels attacked downhill. Julius Randle attacked downhill. Anthony Edwards attacked downhill. You look at those 3 guys alone, were 11 for 11 from the free throw line in the third quarter. And I thought that they just did a great job of kind of turning that upped intensity and aggression into being the more physical team. And they were absolutely not the more physical team in that first half, especially that second quarter. I mean, we're not really going to talk too much about the second quarter, I guess, just because of what this game came into. But I mean, the Spurs scored 48 points on 25 offensive possessions in the second quarter, an offensive rating of 192. I know it's a 1 quarter sample size, but that's still absolutely insane. And obviously Berenjay getting his second and third fouls early in the second quarter didn't help. But I mean, he came back in the third quarter, and between he and Jaden, those 2 guys just played with an unbelievable energy on the defensive interior. I thought Jaden McDaniels contested a bunch of shots incredibly well. He didn't get any rebounds in the third quarter, but I just thought the way that he protected the rim and allowed other guys to go out and get rebounds and run in transition was tremendous. And then for Julius Randle was an opportunistic defensive playmaker, right? Had 3 stocks in that third quarter, as was Dante DiVincenzo, who had a steal and a block on, I think it was Dylan Harper that they challenged, or maybe it was Steph Castle that got overturned. But just the way that all of those guys upped their intensity level was awesome. And then for Ant to knock down 3 of his 6 threes that he shot in the third quarter, I think the way that they just layered everything in was really, really solid. But it was just all built off the fact that they just played way harder. And I think, if you just continue to play hard and then, Wemby comes off the floor and you're just able to keep chipping away, I think it just wears at a team. And this is a Spurs team that has really sputtered offensively the last 5 games coming into tonight. And so that was a huge part of it too. But you got to give the Wolves a ton of credit for how much harder they played on defense and what they did to make it difficult for Wemby and the entire Spurs team that whole second half.
Yeah, a lot of positives from this one for sure, as you laid out. Biggest X factor, what we'll be talking about tomorrow, that's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, tonight's episode brought to us by Monarch Money. You ever go check your bank account and go, where'd my money go? Dining out, online shopping, entertainment. So easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. Not just another budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, your investments, your spending. It's all in one place, so you stop just managing your money and instead you start building some wealth. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKDOWNNBA at monarchmoney.com. 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com. Code LOCKDOWNNBA. You're getting half off your entire first year. This episode also brought to us by Prize Picks. Without a doubt, most fun I have playing daily fantasy. You can win up to 25 times your money this NBA season. Why I love it. It's just so easy to play. All you got to do, you select 2 or more players. You pick more or less on their projected stats. Could be, points, rebounds, assists, 3-pointers, you name it, they got it. Plus, they now offer Apple Pay, quick and easy deposits into your account all season long. Right now, go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA. Use the code LockedOnNBA. You're getting a first deposit match up to $100. All right, Jack, before we get into what we'll be talking about, let's get into the biggest X factor for the Wolves.
It's time to reveal who made the biggest under-the-radar impact with today's X Factor.
Are we dipping our toes back into the Frenchman pool tonight, Jack? I got to imagine J at least up for contention, at least up for nomination tonight when it comes to biggest X factor for the Wolves. Who was it and why?
Oui. France giveth and France taketh. Is kind of how we describe the X factor tonight. I mean, just for Baron J, I think again it's so obvious to see the potential that he has, and I think it's really hard to kind of put the genie back in the bottle, to so to speak. And I think they've been talking a lot about how Baron J and two bigs and Jaden don't really know how it fits, but when they went zone with Baron J and Nas and Jaden and Ant and Dante, was just incredible how active they were on defense. But for Baron J, the line tonight, 10 points, 8 rebounds, 5 of them offensive, 3 assists, 2 blocks. They're a +9 in his 23 minutes. I think kind of focusing on just the defensive interior with Baron J on the floor, the Spurs shot 12 of 27. That's 44% from 2 with him on the floor. And with him off the floor, they shot 20 of 29 from 2, 69%. So they really attacked with the same frequency, but converted at a significantly lower rate when Baron J was out there on the floor. I just thought that he impacted a bunch of shots, and the way that he contested on the perimeter as well was absolutely incredible, especially in that fourth quarter when he had 5 fouls. He was just flying around the perimeter, contesting all sorts of shots and then sprinting up the floor. I think that's something too that reminds you a lot of a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo, that he just runs. I mean, the guy's 7 feet tall, but is super fast and absolutely flies up the floor in a way that is going to get him a lot of buckets once his teammates kind of learn to find him there, and he does a better job of sealing smaller defenders inside and then is able to catch. I mean, we've seen that he has great hands, which is awesome. And then on the offensive side of the ball, rebounding too, the Wolves rebounded more than half their misses, nearly 60% of their missed shots.
Wow.
When Baron J was on the floor. And that's not necessarily all Baron J, right? Baron J had 5 offensive rebounds, but I think had 3 tip-ins. But again, the only negative for Baron J in this game really was just too many fouls. And it was just a bummer that he had 5 fouls in his 23 minutes, and that's going to be kind of the biggest thing that's going to keep him from making a bigger impact than I think we all might hope that he can, if he does get some moments where he gets extended run. But again, hopefully that's not going to be as much of an issue if he's going to play 15 to 20 minutes off the bench in a game.
Quick hitters for you, just real quick here, Jack. I know we're a little low on time, but how about Finch getting deep in his bag tonight? Johnny Uzang getting minutes, Leonard Miller out there. I was texting you, getting some minutes. Mike Conley getting a lot more run over Bones Highland. Just what stuck out for you tonight, I guess, with Finch and his kind of bag of tricks, if you will, and any other observations you got in the tank here as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think, you got to give Chris Finch a lot of credit tonight, right? I think for all the things we all collectively have complained about this year, for not playing Baron J enough, not trying to go further down the bench in games when they're down big. That's exactly what he did tonight. I mean, they were down big. Played Johnny Juzang when they just didn't have anything in the second quarter. I think they were 1 of 10 from 3 at the time. They put Johnny Juzang in and tried to get a spark. Ant comes out of the game. Yeah, Ant comes out of the game with that little left leg issue, goes to Leonard Miller at the 6-minute mark. And so I think I'd still like to see more Bones Highland than Mike Conley, but Mike Conley is a significantly better defender than Bones Highland, and that matters quite a bit. You just like to see Mike be able to knock down a 3 or 2 to make it a little bit more worthwhile. But Yeah, and then played Jaden McDaniels extensively at the 5 too, defensively. And it's a shame that we only get 20 minutes some nights because
I
Jaden
know.
was absolutely unbelievable in this game. I probably tweeted like 15 times about how awesome Jaden McDaniels was in this game. But 23, 5 and 5, 9 free throw attempts, second most he's had in a game in his career, and had a crazy block at the rim, a steal, contested everything inside. And I just think that that's a button that they're going to press in the playoffs too. No question about it. Going to Jaden at the 5 when Rudy's down or Nas is down, whatever the case may be.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Take it whatever way you want to, Jack, whatever direction you want to go as we wrap up here. But I'm thinking injuries. That's maybe what we'll be talking about, just the health of this team. Obviously, a lot of positives after a game like this, but it just feels like this has been a team that the theme has been like, don't bring it up and jinx it, but this team has been pretty healthy for the most part, right? Just in general. I know Ant missed quite more games, I guess, than we're used to him, missing the last couple of years, but just top to bottom, just in general. All of a sudden, though, Ant maybe not 100%, although obviously you couldn't tell tonight. Naz Reid left the game. You touched on that. Rudy Gobert, maybe he comes back Tuesday, but will he be 100%? Just a more banged up team than we're maybe used to seeing come Tuesday night versus Utah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's hopefully the case that it is in Utah. So hopefully Rudy will, he's still got a home in Utah that he'll stay in, and hopefully he'll get right and play in front of his former home crowd. But after starting with that game in Utah, they go every other day for 5 games before hosting Oklahoma City in the second night of a back-to-back. Not this coming Thursday, but next Thursday. So not a whole lot of time for these guys to get right. I think and they played a lot of different times. I mean, their next 5 games are all at different times during the day, so that kind of throws off your routine too with getting treatment and all that. But yeah, I just think that injuries, hopefully Rudy's back, but we're concerned about Nas. Just you don't really have a whole lot of clarity on what that injury may be. I know that shoulders can be kind of tricky, and you never really know. But Nas is a warrior, and is definitely going to try to get back. Even if he's 70%, he's going to want to play. So but the good news is the schedule really for the next month is a lot lighter than it's been for the last month. So
great stuff, man. Per usual. What a game, man. A lot of positives to be had. T-Wolves do drop this one 126-123 in San Antonio, but again, erase a 25-point deficit. Anthony Edwards, 55 points. A lot of good stuff from this one. They do fall to 27-16 now on the year, 11 games above 500. Much love to all you guys, all the everydayers out there that always make us your first listen. All you guys coming in the chat with us from game to game, on fire once again, per usual. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and go follow Jack at Jared Borman 13. We'll catch you back here Tuesday, the last of this 4-game road trip. Again, they end things in Utah, 8 p.m. tip for that. Until then, appreciate all you guys. We'll talk to you next time. Signing out.